Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Stamping A to Z. I'm Linda Gibbs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada. Welcome to my live. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you haven't been here and it's your first time, I do these lives every Wednesday at noon Mountain Time on my Facebook page. If that's where you're seeing me, I do post them onto YouTube afterwards though. So if you know someone who might enjoy them, who isn't on Facebook, you can always send them over to my YouTube channel. All of the replays are there. We're on episode 140, so you can see there's a whole lot of videos for you to watch if you're ever looking for a technique or how to use a certain product. Go back and check them out because, like the name is, Stamping A to Z, the original A to Z episodes are there, and it goes through all the products from A to Z, how to use them. As new products come in, I always pick them up and try and show you how to use them and new ways to use them, different ways that you might not have thought of, like dies or stencils or whatever, just using them in new ways so you can stretch your supplies and take them even further. I don't know about you, but I always like to learn new things and try new things. I'm not a same old, very routine pattern person. I like, what can I do now? So I think that's kind of where this is where I like doing this stuff, because then it's always coming up with new stuff. Today, speaking of new stuff, is not too new, but it's November 1st, and it's the start of the 30-day Christmas card making challenge. One of the demonstrators in the UK, Martin, oh my goodness, I'm lost for his name. He puts out, or I don't know how long he's been doing it for. I joined it last year, and I was so proud of myself because I did all 30 days. He sets out 30 days of challenges for one per day to make Christmas cards. So I thought I would incorporate it into this week's live. And so today is day one. And the theme was Shining Bright. And so I thought to myself, the Merry and Bright suite that we have, Merry, Bold, and Bright, the suite is always named different than the stamp set and bundle. So anyways, you will see it. I thought it would be perfect because it has bright in the name. Shining bright, you know, it's all good. And then I thought, I haven't done it in a while. I wanted to go kind of back and do like a step it up kind of. So I have one card that's beginner, one card that's casual, and one card that's avid, because I really like you to see how you can have beautiful cards, whether they're just stamped, have a bit more product on them, or have all sorts. You have everything, or you want everything, and you have lots of tools, and you can do lots of things. They can all be really beautiful and fun to make. So I wanted to go through that again. I don't do it very often. I'm not very good at I don't want to call them beginner cards. They're more of a simple card. Hello, Yolanda. Nice to see you. Yeah, so not a beginner card, but a simple card. And I love the look of simple cards. I'm just not good at doing them. Although I was proud of myself. I did one today. So let me get you turned around and we will get started. Okay. Now comes the fun part of trying to make sure it's actually going to work for me to see the comments and not freeze up on me this week. I tried to update things. It didn't say like Facebook needed to be updated, so I'm not too sure what's gonna happen there. No, it's not. It says I'm live, but it's not popping up. obviously it's there because Yolanda, you found it. There we go. Okay, found it. Now, oh, hello, Linda. Well, maybe I should have left it the other way where I could see the comments. Okay, let's see. Hopefully we're good. It's not freezing yet. We're good so far. All right, so for those of you who are doing Card Club, this is the bundle that's being featured this month for our Card Club. So this is a different card though, don't worry. I made a whole new card. So you get an extra one if this is one that you have or want to get. You'll be able to make all sorts of cards. All right. So there's a bundle, the dies and the stamps. And as usual, my words are not coming to me today. There is, I'm trying to find my catalog, sorry. I thought it could show that, make sure I've got everything. Oh, here, I got, yeah. Okay. So there's this designer series paper. It's a really fun paper with lots of great colors. And it's great because you can use it for anything, not just Christmas. I believe that's part of the suite. One moment, please, while I double check. I don't want to steer you wrong. This is the bundle right at the beginning of the catalog in case you're looking for it. This beautiful Merry, Bold, and Bright suite. So yes, so it has these discs, I believe they're called. Yeah, iridescent adhesive back discs. It comes with an iridescent ribbon, which is absolutely beautiful, which I don't have handy to show you. It has these two foils, really bright foils. I'm not going to pick up I'll show it to you. It's part of one of the cards I'm making. It's really pretty. I'll show you then. My stuff is all on top of it right now. And here's all the designer series paper. And then, oops, maybe it's just one page. Actually, there's 2 pages of this stuff. Anyways, that is all that's in this suite. So, obviously, as a beginner or simple card, like I said, I don't like to call it a beginner, but I did take the approach of it being a beginner in that if you don't have a lot of supplies, you're just kind of starting out, what can you do? So my first card involves a piece of basic white. This is a thick, but you could use the regular if that's all you have. This is the regular basic white. And then I've got a piece of basic gray, I believe it's called. It's not there. Yes, basic gray. So, you know, again, even with this, you don't have to have gray cardstock. If you had white, if you had a color, you could color the gray to give yourself some definition, whatever. You could use white on white and not even use the gray. So it's all just dependent on what you have. Okay, so I'm just going to start with paper. I'm going to move these out of the way so I don't get them messed up. I've got my stamps mounted. Now again, if you're a new stamper and you don't have all the blocks, hopefully you have one block, or if you've bought this set, you've looked at the, it tells you, now I've lost my catalog again. Holy moly, I'm good at this. Okay, let me double check. I feel like maybe they stopped. I think that it's on there. Yes, so it tells you what blocks you need, a B, an H, and an I. This one I believe is the I, to get the big, either the lights or the strings on there, or I guess there's only, that's the die, just the string. But if you have the Stamparatus, or unfortunately we don't have them anymore. It was something, I think think there's like a lawsuit or something for copyright stuff. I don't know, but they decided to not deal with that, and they're hoping to bring something back in the future similar, but hopefully you have one, or you can, there are some out, the Stampin' Misty. So there's ways, or just buy the really big block, just the one. If you only want to buy a block, it's harder to use, but you can always buy the really big one, and then you've covered yourself for pretty much every stamp out there. But here I've got my blocks. It just makes demonstrating my life easier. Okay, so I'm just going to do some stamping for this first card. And I've got basic gray as my ink here. So I've used a few ink colors for this. Maybe not everyone would have all the ink colors, but there are options when you don't have the stamp pads. You can make the smaller ones yourself. They sell the uninked little Stampin' spots, and you can buy the ink refills and make those for cheaper. You can buy the markers, and then you can color your stamp with your marker and then stamp it down. You go around, and then don't forget to huff, because you have to re-wet it. But there's lots of options if you don't have lots of colors, if you want more color. So here I'm using, so I've got the basic gray for my string, and then I'm using Daffodil Delight and Melon Mambo. But as you can see, you could use any colors that you have. Before I jump the gun, I'm going to pull out, I could use basic gray again. I just chose to use Smoky Slate. If you wanted that same effect and you only had basic gray, you can do the stamp off. So you can go in, get your full color, and then get your secondary color so it's lighter. So there's always that option if you don't have multiple colors. You can get multiple colors out of multiple stamping. Okay, make sure I have the right one here. Smoky Slate, yep. All right, so I'm just gonna come through, and I'm gonna put my little, the bulb ends, the little light bulb ends onto my string. Okay, so we've got our ends. Now we need our bulbs. So I've got Melon Mambo, and I'm just gonna go, oh, I should have done that. Oh, I just re-inked this, and now it's almost too juicy. We'll see what happens. Okay, I'll just... I wonder if it's because it's a newer stamp and it's just not... Well, that one was okay. Okay, so I've got Melon Mambo, and then I've got to clean my... I'm just cleaning it off camera, of course, on my chamois. Just making sure it's nice and clean, and you might want to test it. Make sure, because if you are going into a lighter color, you want to make sure your stamp is nice and clean. And then the yellow, which seems like it needs to be re-inked, unlike the other one. But it actually gives it a nice glow. So, which is funny, because in the next one I was going to show you how to give it a glow, but it's kind of automatically doing it, which is kind of cool. All right, so I've got my bulbs, I've got my stamped part. This set actually, I was more attracted to the words than I was the actual, like I was like, oh, this doesn't look overly fun. But I really like when the words are kind of that reverse image. So like you're stamping the part around the words and then you can cut it out. So I really like that part of it, and that's what made me want to get this, I guess. So again, I'm just gonna, as a beginner, I might not think I could stamp this on a piece of paper and then cut it out and pop it up, but I'm trying to think, you know, you might not think of that. You might not have the confidence to cut it. You might prefer to do it that way. Then you can cut it and you don't have to worry about it being straight. That's where the Stamparatus comes in nicely. And then we just have our gray piece here and white. So basically stamps, ink, and paper is this first card. Simple, quick, and easy. I like to line it up on one side when I'm going all the way across, and that way if I have cut it too long, I can trim it afterwards. So usually if you're just doing stamps, ink, and paper, you kind of want to embellish it somehow and give it a little bling. You could use ribbon for that, or any of our embellishments. So I am going to put a few of those on, but I'm just going to turn this over. I like to turn it over, so basically I'm running my scissors along my card so that it stays straight, but I've trimmed it so that it's a nice nice fit. There's the perfectionist. If you watched last week's, you'll know I did a little bit of a perfectionist's dream of making cards. If you missed it and you are a bit of a perfectionist, you might want to check it out. Oopsie. That one looks like it's falling off the dot. Let's put this guy up here. This guy down here. Okay, so we've got some bling. We've got stamps and paper. Easy, right? Okay, next step, let's bump this up a little bit and let's get a little fancier. So here I was imagining that a person who's a bit of a casual crafter or just likes not crazy fancy cards, simpler cards, probably doesn't have like a big boss, like a Stampin' cut and emboss machine. They might have a few tools, but not everything. And then I imagined, okay, well, maybe if they bought the bundle, maybe they bought the designer series paper to go with it, because that can really add to your card as well. So this time I've got the same two pieces, but then I've added a piece of the designer series paper from the suite. And then I also figured, since they've been crafting for a little bit, maybe not a lot, maybe they know some techniques. So we're gonna do our string again. You can do the string either way, works. I guess it just depends on where you're putting your bulbs, and if you're trying to fit more, you can plan it out that way. And then I'm going to, so this is a bit of a two-step, it's overkill, I think, but it's the best way to me to line it up. So for me, one of my first, okay, I haven't put your order in, Linda, so you can let me know you want to include this bundle. Oh my goodness. Okay. What was I saying? Okay. this is a two-step, but it's so that I can line up my bulbs, and you will see why in a second. If you are worried about lining things up, you can use your Stamparatus, or I'm going to stamp off so that it's lighter and it's not as prominent. You'll see why in a second here. Okay, so we've got our, I don't know, what do you call them? The electrical part of it. The bulb end, very technical term. And then we're going to do, like I said, a technique for the light bulb. My Melon Mambo technique wasn't working so great. This was doing it all on its own. I have some sponge daubers, which again, as a casual crafter, you might have some kind, if you could use a blender brush, you could, whatever. So I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to take my dauber and I'm going to add back some ink onto the edge. It's hard to see. And I'm going to huff on it, and then I'm going to stamp it and hope it didn't work. I'm going to do that again. You know what I'm going to do? Since it's a clear, I don't know, there we go. Now I can see it. I don't know what was going on there. Since it's clear, I'm just going to stamp over top. And if you're using your Stamparatus, it's even easier to do. So there, I've got a bit of shadow going on. I don't know if you can see that in the video. So hopefully I can get, yes, we've got some extra on there this time. That's why I couldn't see it last time. I thought it was just because the stamp was darker. There we go. That's the look I was going for. So you can see it, it just looks like there's some shadow. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, it probably should be darker here and lighter here with the way the thing is. But, you know, I'm just going to go with it. I'm not, I think I said this last week. Me and shading and shadows, I suck. That is not my forte. Okay, now if you remember, this one is super juicy, so we're definitely going to stamp it off. And then we're going to add some of that back. Because it's dark, it kind of isn't as nicely blended as I would like it. I did end up, so I tried, I took my blending brush. You could do this with your sponge dauber, but my sponge dauber either has something on it or it's so old it's falling apart. So I tried and it was leaving stuff on it. So let's see if that smooths it out at all. Yeah, I don't know why it's so blotchy. I think this might, no, this, I think this is a brand new stamp pad too. I don't know. If you guys try this, let me know. I think I forgot to stamp it off too. Anyways, that's okay. It's handmade, right? Out the perfectionism goes. Okay, so now the whole reason I did this light stamping for the bulb ends is because then I was gonna come back. I gotta make sure this is clean. I needed to come back because I envisioned the embossing powder and the heat tool. These were probably one of my first, after the basics, this was probably, the heat gun was probably my next first purchase. It is the best. It just gives you so much, you can do so much to your card with it and make it really cool. And and it's super fun to do. I don't know about you guys. Do you guys like to heat emboss? So I'm just going to come back and I'm going to line it up because it's clear. It's easy to do. And as usual, A, should have dried it. B, I should have used my anti-static. Oh, too busy talking instead of thinking. Okay, so I did them all together. It stays wet long enough that you don't have to do them one at a time. I'll bring in a piece of paper. Take out my silver. You do not need this much powder. Okay, pretty good. You can give it a tap if there's some excess. Take a brush and just brush it off. Again, it just depends on... Oh! Don't brush it away from where you want it. That was silly. Okay, I was getting a little too crazy with my brush. All right, happy with that. Let's move the powder because we don't want to heat up the whole thing of powder. We'll take out our heat tool. Just let it heat up a wee bit. And then off we go. You see how it just like melts like butter? I love, it's so satisfying. Does anybody else have a thing for heat embossing? Especially Christmas cards. Best thing on earth, because I think that's what I was doing when I first started Stampin' Up. It was like a Christmas card thing. It was a snowman. I wonder if I still have it. I don't know. All right, and then since we've got our wonderful embossing powder, then why not do that for our sentiment? And with this one, since we know a few more things about crafting, we're going to do it on a strip and cut it out. And then add it. I just realized I didn't have to do this whole thing for you guys. Oopsie. See, this is why I'm using my Yucky pad, because I forgot to clean my stamps. But it won't show because the silver will be on top of it, so that's all good there. No need to redo anything. In fact, it'll just help with the color. Okay, we'll move that. Come back in. Have our fun with the whoosh. Isn't that, it's just so satisfying to me. That melting, seeing it just kind of switch from dull to shiny makes me happy. There we go. Okay, so then I cut them out. I'm not going to do it. I'll just show you the finished product. If you remember, I had my extra designer series paper and my basic gray background and my white card base, and voila. I cut it, I popped it up, have some dimensionals, added my bling, and there you go. So that is the number 2 step, our middle of the line card. All right, next is the Avid Crafter. So the Avid Crafter wants everything, has everything. Most likely has a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So we're gonna use the dies, because if you've got it, why wouldn't you use it? Where did my dies go? I wanted to show. So it's kind of nice because this one, oh, it does. It has 2 of each of the bulbs. It has 2 of the bulb toppers, so you can cut them out quicker. It has filaments that you can cut out. So there's the skinny one for the skinny bulb, and there's a fatter one for the fat bulb. I don't know if I have it here. If you get creative and you are one to see things, these actually, when you cut them out, they can be bulb toppers, but they can also be mugs. So you can have cheers. I made a card with that. I think I was gonna, I don't know if we used it in our card club or if I was just gonna show it. I'm not sure where that is right now. So there was that. You can, I've used these ones. I've cut off the top here. You can use it as a tree trunk. This just makes your glow, so you can do the glow. I just saw this. It's a delay in my, it's like, oh, my camera's closer than it is usually, so the hands are just like, whoa. And then you've got your light strings and then other string. You have all sorts of stuff you can do. And if you get creative, you can, there was, oh, what did I see? This, oh, this can be the tip of a, you know, the pens, the old style pens. I saw someone use that for a happy birthday. Just, sky's the limits. You guys just have to like totally get creative, I guess, or just cruise Pinterest and find other people's creativity. All right, where's my piece of paper? I've got my piece of white paper. I used, so like I said, I've done a lot of die cutting with the machine. I pre-did it because, you know, who wants to watch me roll dies through machines? If you don't know how, you can always go back and look at my many videos that do show. This is the foil that I said I would show you. I believe it's Melon Mambo and Granny Apple Green are the, yeah. So those are they come with 2 sheets each in a pack. So fun, like you can use this for any time of year. Yeah, you can use them together as Christmas colors, but you can really use them for anything. I also added in, so because sky's the limits, right? I've got the avid crafter who's got everything, not everything, but lots of stuff. I've got gold foil, I've got silver foil, I've got the Melon Mambo here. So I've got my bulbs, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just not stamping. There's much less stamping when I get into the die cuts, which I've realized because a lot of times my cards don't have a lot of stamping. And I do find too that with my card club, because I'm mailing it, a lot of people aren't in person. They live, you can live anywhere in Canada to do the club. I have to use the die cuts more often, so we don't get to do as much stamping as when it was in person and people would come and they could use. So I've tried to keep my club so that 1 month is all featuring, all our cards are featuring 1 bundle. And that way, if you want to get the bundle and be able to stamp along, I have some stamp options within the cards. So a little bit of a change up, trying to get creative. Okay, so we've got all these pieces and parts. Luckily, there's 2 of each, so when you're cutting, it doesn't take as long. I did put the adhesive, what's it called? Adhesive paper on the back, on the silver, so that I can just stick these on. It's a lot easier. My hands get so gluey. I don't know about you guys. You're saying that embossing powder is a lot of work? I guess it depends. I think because I leave mine out, and I know I shouldn't. I need to put it in containers that are airtight because I don't think it's good for them to sit out, but I pretty much leave mine out in their tray. Like the silver is not because it wasn't Christmas, but it probably will be now. But I have 3 little trays, and whatever colors I use most sit in the tray, and I just grab them. And my heat tool is always out on my desk, so it doesn't seem like as much work, I guess, is how I. And then to assemble these, stay focused. Okay, I used a small dimensional, and I put it in between because it fits perfectly as a holder, and then I put it on like so, and then I glued them down because I was gonna glue them, but then with having the 2 prongs, it just kind of makes it hard to stick. You could use a glue dot, that would work as well. I ended up, once I stuck these down, I found it was really wobbly, and I didn't want to pop up my bulbs. I was going to glue them straight down. So then I added, here, I'll just do one to show you. So I don't know if you could probably, actually, oh, but then it wouldn't line up. I don't know. So I did it that way, and this is the hard way. You could probably just put 3 across, and it with the dimensional on, it would be forgiving enough that you could just stick it on. But I ended up putting the 2 others after the fact like this, and I just slid it in. And then when you want the backing off, you just pull, and then that way the whole thing is stuck down. It's not wobbly anymore, and it'll stick to your thing. But before I stick it down, I needed to put, so instead of stamping a string across, I'm using some silver cord. I'm not sure what this is called in the catalog. I believe it's in the annual catalog. And so you might be thinking, how the heck do I attach this? Because it's so skinny. You could just put like a bit of adhesive and stick it, but it's probably not gonna, well, I guess it stays pretty good, but I like it to make sure that it's gonna stay. So I take my tear and tape, and I just take a piece and I stick it down. So then I know it's holding. And then I'm going to leave the other end loose, because that's when you're going to string your, I actually did not string mine. I did one of the cards I made a while ago. I strung them all, and then I went down and I glued them and I placed them. Your other option is on this one, I glued each one down because this part is popped up. I knew I could just string it through even though it was glued down. So whatever makes you more comfortable to do, that's what you can do. I will show you the finished product. So here, I just glued them down. I ran my string through, and then I put it on the other side. I put some, oops, I've got some adhesive there. Some metallic cardstock on either side instead of doing the basic gray, just to, you know, because it's a blingy card. It's merry and bright. And with this one, I ended up stamping directly on my cardstock because I thought with these popped up, I don't know, I thought that it was good this way. So, and then I added some random confetti. To me, it looks like confetti. I don't know about you guys. So let me go back. So it still ended up being a fairly simple looking card. It just has lots of steps to it, I guess. See, and you need more things. So I guess that's what makes it an avid crafter's delight. All right, where's this one and this one. So here's our first one that was just stamps, paper, ink. This one stamps, paper, ink technique and embossing, and then this one with the die cutting, embossing, and just a lot of fun. They're all really pretty, right? Do you guys have a favorite? Like this one's super blingy. I kind of like this one or this. I don't know. What do you guys think? I almost prefer the stamped bulbs to the solid. I was thinking about trying to stamp on these bulbs to give them a bit more texture, but I hadn't come up with, I didn't try. You know what? We should try. Do you want to see? Let's see, I have one here. I wonder if I were to stamp on it. I know I thought about doing embossing, like clear embossing powder, so it would give it that little, but it's already so nice and shiny. So what if we just stamp with the same color? So I've got my Melon Mambo, but it'll take a bit to dry. So be forewarned, you want to be careful about sliding when you put it on. Ooh, like that. And then, oh, geez, it's really slippery. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if we dry it, what it does. Can you see? At least it has the little, I don't think that's going to show. It just looks, I guess we could dab it and see. I don't know, maybe doing the clear embossing would be the answer to giving it texture. Let's try that. Let's try. So I'm just going to wipe this. And it's like it was never stamped. There's a lot of ink on there. Holy moly. Okay, I think it's clean. Oh, everybody has different favorite ones, which is totally normal. Yeah, I don't know what it is about the stamped ones. For some reason, I like them. Okay, let's clean this off. Then we'll take our Versamark, remove all these so we don't get them dirty. And we need the clear powder. So again, I do have a tray. Ooh, almost spilled it. A tray of clear powder. And again, when you stamp this down, make sure you just plop it down because it's slippery. And then just kind of very slippery. Okay, and then close this. Take that. Oh, I don't know if I got the whole thing. I'm gonna need my handy dandy tool here so that I don't A, burn myself, B, make a mess. My hands all over it. Okay, so we've got good coverage. Now, let's see what happens. You know what would be really cool is if we had like a matte embossing powder. So then you're turning glossy into matte. Okay, so now you've got that bulb kind of, I don't know, what do you think? If we take one of these, does it look a bit more? I think it does have a bit more texture than, I guess I should have, it really doesn't change the paper look. It just gives you that little bit of texture that you need. I don't know, can you see that? Let's see if I hold it up. Can you see that it has the little bulb? I wonder if you could even do, I have some old like dazzling diamond embossed, like, or iridescent ice or something, whatever the sparkly one was, that might look cool too. Anyways, I think I'll do that on this other card and see. I think it just adds that little bit more. Right? Okay, Yolande, you might know this. The shine line, would that be where it's lighter and the darker would be here? Or would the darkest be here? I'm just curious. It's for my own information because I never know where to put my shadows. And I'm trying to think, if the shine is there, I would think this would be the brightest part. So this would be the lighter part and this would be the darker part. In which case I totally did it wrong, right? The dark part should be here and the light part should be here. Am I thinking that right? I'll have to try again. All right, well, hopefully that entertained you. Hopefully you enjoyed the cards. And I'm going to start working on my November challenge because I've got 30 days and I only have 14 days to do it in. So, yeah, keep your eyes posted. If you want to join me and do the challenge, I would love for you to join me. You can go there. There's a Facebook group. It's called Martin's Mayhem is his, if you look it up on Facebook. These are the 30 days challenge. And so I don't remember that he did this last year. Maybe I just didn't know it was there. He's got everything already put on there so I can work ahead. So, because there's somewhere it's just a color combo or a sketch. So like, on day 4, it's a color combo, but you know what the color combo is ahead of time. So if you want to do these ahead of time, and then there's the sketches. So you can have all 30 days all right now if you go on to the Facebook group, or if you can't find it or want help or whatever, for sure let me know and I can forward you the challenge sheet, or maybe actually I'll post it onto my group, onto my page, and you guys can see it. If you take part, make sure to tag me or put it in my comments or whatever so that I can see what you're making. All right, hopefully you can join and make 30 cards in November. And then my goal, so I still have my 30 cards from, not all 30, I think I gave some away, but I'm going to take all my cards this year and I'm going to get them out to all my family and friends. Fingers crossed. All right, take care. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.